Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Romantasy Roundtable, a tale of Rick and Roses. This is Rick, and I'm joined with my roses.
Amanda.
And Kim.
And if somehow you actually like what you're listening to, please make sure to like and subscribe on all the things, which is the YouTube, the podcast services. We have the Bookstagram and the Book Talk. We do things there. We have an email address, romantasyroundtable@gmail.com. And I think I did it again. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I think that's everything.
All right. We did it.
Excellent.
We have successfully begged. Please like and subscribe.
Excellent. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, it's it worked. It's fine.
Yeah, what's going on? You've been like stressing all weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. Just feeling stressed for some reason. No reason. Just, I guess, biology and brain stuff.
Okay.
Got to do dinner or has to get ready for school tomorrow. So, rapid fire night.
Yeah, I get it.
How you guys doing?
I just cooked all my food, and so I'm really warm. It's really hot in my apartment because I had to cook food. But yeah, Tristan is out of town, and so.
Oh, right. And Sokka slept in the bed.
No, Socket's not sleeping on the bed. She's getting kicked out of the bedroom because she won't stop woofing.
Oh, no.
She feels like she has to guard me. It's very annoying.
But very sweet. She's your soldier dog.
She's a very good girl, but I want...
You want a good and quiet girl instead of a good woofing girl. And apparently she's woofing again. Yay.
She loves a good woof.
She just wants to talk to us. She wants to say hi.
She's really interested in being on the podcast. Do you want to say something? She does not.
Does not.
I sound all right?
Yeah.
Obviously not better than this microphone, but I don't know. Just curious. Testing it out.
You sound fine.
All right, cool. Thank you, Socket. I do sound fine.
She's got to protect Amanda from you now, Rick.
Oh my God, guys. Kim, how was your weekend?
It was great. My cousin was in town. My cousin Katie. She might listen to this at some point also.
Hello, Katie.
She recently read Bride for her book club.
Oh, yeah, she did.
So we had a thrilling conversation about knots because we haven't discussed that enough before. But it was lovely. Ate a lot of good food. Had a few good cocktails. Made some custom perfumes. We went to see Maybe Happy Ending last night, which was lovely, and I highly recommend it to everybody.
It's so good. It's so precious.
Yeah. And then, shockingly, also really emotional at the end.
Yeah, I cried a lot.
I cried a lot. I was like, oh, this is so warm-hearted. And then like 2 minutes later, I'm like, I am sobbing. I am like convulsing sobbing here. So it was good.
For those of you who are not watching, she is yelling. She has muted herself and is visibly yelling at Socket like a cartoon character.
It wasn't even
From the
that
side
loud.
is very funny.
I just told her to come over here.
It was still very funny because you had a side profile going.
Yeah, that's basically what's happening. Now she's licking my foot.
Perfect.
Just put her in
All
bed.
right. We are
we read
reading
books.
We're reading from Blood and Ash, Book 2, A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. Is that right?
Yep.
Akafaf. And we have read chapters 13 through 23.
Sure we did.
Should we jump in?
Let's, please.
Where
please.
are our summaries from today? Which AI did this for us?
So I am going back and forth. It's Gemini. It's Gemini. I am on the Gemini train right now because everyone hates ChatGPT for some reason.
And you made it say nice things about Poppy again.
No, I mean, this is just from whatever it feels.
It doesn't feel, it's a robot.
This is just, okay, then it is objective how the world views Poppy. It is just a fact.
Okay. Chapter 13. Poppy's mood lifts upon entering a library filled with books, but Castile immediately pulls her onto his lap. forcing a tense but playful discussion about her refusal of Alistair's help and their forced arrangement. She learns that Castile's parents expect him to take the throne, though he insists he will free his brother Malik, the true heir, to prevent it. While reading ancient records, Castile reveals his belief that Poppy is descended from the powerful empath warriors. Right before an alarm sounds, signaling the arrival of the Ascended. From blood and ash, she is rising, a maiden no more, but a powerful empath warrior whose green eyes hold the future of Atlantia and the heart of a certain arrogant prince.
Oh God, this is going to be a long hour, y'all.
It's gonna be the best hour.
I would like to point out they're sitting on a settee, a love seat. They're back. Settees are back.
Yep.
And also technically have more than one seat.
It's a love seat. You can both sit there.
She's got a seat.
Why?
The best seat in the house.
Why?
The best seat in the house.
So annoying.
Let's see. My notes for this chapter. Let's see. Wyvern. We have Wyvern.
Yeah, which are
Another
not dragons.
bloodline. Right? It's another bloodline or something? Or there's
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's
We have
another
wyvern and-
bloodline.
Yeah.
It is not a dragon-esque creature with 2 legs and little arms.
Right.
So I am annoyed about that.
But, like-
Amanda, you mentioned last time, like she does everything with like one letter off.
Yeah.
So it's not a wyvern, it's a wyvern, I guess.
They're also, I wrote down that they're like werecats. So they like shapeshift into a feline like creature rather than a wolf like creature.
And I got a wrestling reference. There's another bloodline, not to be confused with the WWE's version of the bloodline, which is Roman Reigns and The Rock of them, because that's a faction in WWE. So this is a different bloodline.
Got it.
Not the
Understood.
wrestling bloodline.
We also learn here that in Atlantia, the king can only rule for 400 years.
Wrote that
So
down
that-
too.
So that
Only
change,
400 years.
so that change has to occur. And I wrote, that sounds nice. Term limits. That sounds really nice.
I was about to say, I hope a certain president doesn't read this book and get any ideas.
Oh my God. Well, he's already 400, so it's fine. Someone could, so he is in line for the throne, but someone could, of course, challenge the throne, and he doesn't seem to have any interest in being king. I wrote, I'm already over the lap sitting. And then at some point in this chapter, she eats literal soup. There also seems to be like a spark on her skin at one point that they describe like static electricity. And so I think lightning is coming somehow.
So in both this chapter and the next chapter, there is a lot of like Atlantean creature soup that we're getting as she's reading through these like ancient records. So hence we're learning about the wyverns and drakens and all kinds of random shit. But Amanda, to your point, one of these Atlantean bloodlines occasionally was able to spout fire. And so my note says, is Poppy going to be able to spout fire? Is that also where the electrical current is from? And then I said, please, it would be one redeeming thing about this book.
I think those are the Darkin.
Wait.
I think I wrote there are flying horses that breathe fire.
But you guys didn't like when Violet's signet was lightning, but you want Poppy's signet to be lightning?
Oh, no, I'm not for that. No, that's a Kim Island thing.
No, I just want her to breathe fire.
Oh, okay, fine.
I want her to be like Poppy the dragon. Like, you know. Like.
So the reason the lightning thing comes up is because Kieran like kind of runs away from it. And so Cass says that Wolven are like particularly susceptible to electricity. And so I wrote that this is why Socket is afraid of thunderstorms.
Before we move on to the next chapter, my quote of the chapter comes from that actually. When he brushes up against her, he's like, I feel like I've been struck by lightning. And then Poppy says, and I quote, have you been struck by lightning before? And he says, no, it's a figure of speech.
We should probably, for the sake of like the lore, we should talk about what the empath warriors are though.
Fair. Do you want to?
Yeah, so they're pretty good. They're actually very strong. I think they're probably one of the most strongest, right? Because they can control the other people's feelings and like rile them up. It's basically Cat's signet from Fourth Wing.
I was thinking the same thing.
So like she can like enhance their fear. Like she can basically like take on a whole army without even touching them. Very, very strong.
We also find out later that some of the empaths were able to also siphon emotions as energy. And so not only could they control the emotions, but then they could also become even more powerful by taking that and converting it into their own energy.
Chapter 14?
Yep.
As the Ascended arrive with royal knights, Castile gives Poppy back her bloodstone dagger and rushes out to confront them, recognizing their danger. Lord Cheney, who's a leader, brutally executes a woman for lying and a man who refuses to betray the maiden, confirming for Poppy that the Ascended are merciless and her old escape plan was dangerously naive. Clasping her woven dagger, Poppy watches as Castile strides into the courtyard and dramatically reveals himself as the Dark One, announcing, "I have the maiden and I'm not giving her back." The confrontation escalates immediately as half of the royal knights transform, exposing a terrifying truth. There are more Ascended in the royal army than anyone knew. Even in the face of brutal death, our chosen is the fiercest of all, holding a blade of bloodstone and fire in her hand, ready to unleash the raw power of the empath warriors on anyone who dares to threaten her future. I don't really think it was that.
It was.
Intense.
AI said it, so it is.
Yeah, so a couple things here. I forgot this from the first book, but From Blood and Ash is like a call-in response.
Right. From Blood and Ash, we shall rise.
We shall rise, which is just so annoying. So that happens here. I didn't know who any of these lords were. I don't know who Lord Halverston is. I don't know who Dick Cheney is. I don't know any of these guys. And I forgot who Mrs. Tullis was.
She did, though.
So I wrote RIP, but I did forget who she was. But so she and her husband came to the Ascended in the first book and were like, please spare our son. Don't take him. And they were like, too damn bad. And so they ran away. And then her husband tried to kill Poppy. And then he got. And so now she got.
Yep.
What are you doing? And at one point in this chapter, somebody says, do you think this is the best time to rehash something that doesn't even matter? And that's the whole book. The whole book is us rehashing something that doesn't even matter when it's not.
I have that later. Time. Yeah, I have that later.
So this is kind of the setup to the fight. The fight mostly happens in chapter 15, but this is the setup to the fight.
Yeah, you talked about most of the things I said, but one of my notes is there's so many new people. I have no idea who they are.
I don't know who anybody is.
Right.
I was basically just like, these are like the invading Ascended who are trying to get the maiden back, and like the names are just going to wash over me and not retain them at all.
Yeah. I only remember Lord Cheney because he sticks around for a couple chapters, but I wrote Lord Halverston. I don't know who that is. I don't remember him at all. The Ascended are like kind of monstrous.
Oh yeah, they're
I guess we haven't really seen them in their like monstery form. So I just kind of assumed that. Can you hear her toy?
Mm-hmm.
Great. I just kind of assumed that they were just like regular looking people and that they just like drank the blood, but they turn into like, I don't know, they're kind of animalistic.
Yeah, I like in my head I picture, I don't know, this is gonna sound so weird. So like I picture vampires, but like in a vampire movie where there's like tears, right? And then like if Lestat is the beautiful one over here, it's the one at the bottom who's like all mangly and like, you know.
And like what?
So
it's like the emoji of the zombie.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so chapter 15, they're fighting. So chaos erupts as the royal knights, many of whom we know are secretly Ascended, begin savagely attacking the people of the keep, forcing Elijah, again, I don't remember who that is, and the Wolven to fight to the death with bloodstone weapons. So when they stab them with the blood, when they stab the Ascended with the bloodstone, they crack.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem like they turn to dust like Buffy the Vampire Slayer style. It seems like they crack like porcelain dolls.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
Kind of cool. So Poppy, jolted by the violence and the sight of Castile ripping out a knight's neck, again, literally committing war crimes, moves with instinct, accurately throwing her bloodstone dagger to kill the knight who's holding a child hostage. Dick Cheney then corners Poppy and the boy, and she's forced to drop her only defense and pretend to welcome his rescue. In a desperate failed attempt to save the child, Cheney knocks her unconscious, takes her away in the crimson carriage, and when she wakes, he casually admits the Ascendant's plan to use her to, quote, usher in a whole new era of their kind. Oh, I'm going to read. I have to read this line.
Yeah, okay.
The moment she threw that dagger, she wasn't just a maiden anymore, but the beautiful sacred warrior queen who was too fire to be contained by a mere vampire.
I told you, it's great. It's from AI, so it's true.
So she's like trying to, like the Ascended are trying to eat the babies. And this kid is like, he's like the freaking in Hercules where it's like, Jeepers, mister, you're really strong. I'm like, you need to run for your life. What are you doing?
Away. Yeah.
My first note for this chapter is I fell asleep. I was reading and I fell asleep. Like it wasn't because it was boring. I was reading like.
So
like
now
this chapter actually has like action in these chapters.
I know. I think I was tired and I just fell asleep and I had to remember what I wrote.
So she lost her bloodstone dagger. She's got her meat knife, which again is not a steak knife. It's a meat knife. And she like wakes up in the carriage and she's like, well, what happened to the baby? Or what happened to the little boy? And it's like, Poppy, you idiot. They eat the babies. Like that's the point of the book.
We told you that, Poppy. You knew that.
And then the chapter ends with him biting her.
Yeah, I said, Lord, I didn't know his name. I wrote, Lord Guy attacked and bit her.
Lord Guy. Dick Cheney.
Yeah. And then before you, my first note for chapter 16 is she stabbed Lord Guy. She
does stab. She stabs him.
And she goes through this sort of like internal reckoning of he doesn't view me as anything other than a food source, like doesn't see me as an actual person. And as we're also saying, it's like, dude, you know that he's eating babies. Like what did you think?
What did you think was going to happen? I think
surprise.
Also, like, he's kind of like, you have no idea. Like what she's like, I know everything that you were planning to do. And he's like, you have no idea. So there is more to the story of like, you know, maybe she wasn't just going to be a juice box. Maybe she wasn't just going to feed Malik so that he could be a juice box.
I have a juice box reference for the next chapter.
There's more. So, all right, chapter 16. I have almost no notes for chapter 16.
His name is Cheney.
Yeah, it's Cheney. It's Dick Cheney.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
It's Lord Cheney, but I'm calling him Dick
Whatever.
Cheney.
Yeah.
All right, so Cheney, driven wild by his wound, attempts to feed on Poppy, causing a searing, intense pain that's nothing like Castile's bite, because Castile has bitten her before, until the carriage screeches to a halt, giving her a moment to furiously stab him with the meat knife. Castile, of course, calling her princess, dramatically tears the carriage door off and rushes to her, stopping her panic-fueled stabbing spree, but she slips into unconsciousness from the trauma. When she wakes, she is healed thanks to a worried Castile sharing his healing Atlantean blood with her, a rare act that could strengthen her Atlantean side, but if she has too much blood, she could potentially ascend.
We don't want that.
So we don't want that. So she's distraught to learn that Cheney lied and killed the boy anyway. Again, fucking duh. Strengthening her resolve to help the wounded dissenters with her power, leading to a flirty strategic moment where Castile finally allows her to use her healing abilities. Her wounds may fade, but the taste of his forbidden, warm Atlantean blood now burns in her veins, making her the ultimate prize, the half-mortal maiden whose body and heart only belong to the Dark One. What did you tell Gemini?
I don't know. What did I tell Gemini? Hold on, let's see. I told Gemini something. I said, based on the stuff, I said, please add an extra sentence at the end, not including the summary, about something related to Poppy. Make her sound amazing, but from something related to the book up to this point. If it's cringe, it's great. Please, more cringe.
Nailed it.
Yep.
All right, so I don't know. Castile loves Poppy. Castile and Poppy sitting in a tree.
Right. I have two things to bring up. I said one of the lines from the chapter is Atlantean blood is either fine wine or whiskey, truly a juice box. truly a juice box.
She's a juice box.
My last note for this chapter is talking. I'm bored. She wants to help the people.
Yeah, I do like the chapter where she helps the people.
I do too.
Right. That's
Yeah.
And at the beginning of chapter 17, we got blood trees.
All right, it's chapter 17 time. Castile guides Poppy to the injured, taking her hand and feeling unexpected sparks of energy. Again,
Violet.
She's a lightning wielder. Violet's in the house. Before
breathe fire. Just wait. She's going to breathe fire.
I'd be really down for her to breathe fire.
Imagine she fucking breathes fire. Just
breathes fire. This book is insane. All right, so guys, talk about the blood tree.
I don't know how the blood. Okay, a blood tree shows up and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's a blood tree." It's like, "Oh, it's an omen. It's either a good omen or a bad omen." They're like, "Well, what is it?" They're like, "I don't know, but it's an omen." That's it, right? Like it's bleeding or something.
Yeah. So there is a blood forest that they went through in the last book,
right?
And the blood trees grow in the blood forest, but a blood tree has popped up in their little fortress town. Where they fought the Ascended. And so they're like, it's an omen, but the gods are sleeping. So who sent the tree? Is it a good omen? Is it a bad omen? And they're like, Poppy's like, it can't possibly be about me. And I'm like, girl, it's obviously about you. She's so annoying.
Yeah, she is.
All right.
She's so stupid.
So they see the tree, and then she goes to the hospital or the infirmary. That's the word I'm looking for. And she's walking around healing the wounded.
Kings County.
Yeah, she's at Kings County Medical Center on the critical care wing with my dear friends that handled me when I had my polytraumatic injury. She's walking around, she's healing the people. Some of them are scared of her. Alistair says that they are worried that she's that some people call the empath soul eaters. So they're worried that she's gonna like siphon their emotions away. But yeah, it's cool. She's like walking around and she's helping the people. She does see somebody who they describe as having skin free of lines and untouched by age. And I said, okay, bragging. So rude. And so then she touches, basically there's like this woman who's dying and like her mom is there, I guess. And so she shows up and the mom is basically like, don't bother. Like we know she's going to die. And so does she actually touch the mom to take the grief away, or does the mom refuse?
I think she does. I don't remember.
I don't know. But then she says, that woman says, you are a second daughter, not a maiden, but chosen nonetheless, which is something similar to the woman at the Red Pearl said to her. All right. Later, Castile pulls her abruptly into a pantry and confesses that he is in utter awe of her strength. Then he says he needs her because he's needed her for days, weeks, months, maybe forever, and finally kisses her in a powerful, passionate moment that blurs the lines between them. Our powerful maiden is not only a healer, but a fire starter.
Oh, yeah.
Igniting a need so deep in Castile that he that he risked an herb and vegetable scented moment of forever just to claim her lips.
This is so good.
This is also the chapter in which someone says damn straight.
That's your favorite.
Which again, I'm like, you can't say damn straight and also be sitting on a settee. Like those things don't exist in the same universe. You can't be like, what's a shower? That happens later. But like, you can't do that and then say you can't. I'm going to let Rick say his favorite line later.
Oh, later? Is it later?
It's later.
Okay.
Also,
good.
Yeah, and he goes in this whole big thing about like, can't we just pretend?
Oh my god, I hate that so much.
And it's like, what are we pretending when you're like, you're just having soup, guys? Like that's
they do this for chapters too.
Just be into each other. Like what?
Right.
Okay, so I just finished this audiobook where they're fake married. And the whole time it's like they're clearly actually into each other. And she's like, but he could never be interested in me. And it's like, but he is. Like, you're fake married and you're having sex. So like, what are we talking about? What are we even talking about?
Right.
Anyway.
I'm convinced that our girl Jennifer like wrote these books back to back. Like she didn't stop.
Yeah, she just be writing.
Right. Like, and I say that because one of my notes is, oh, right. Poppy used to, like, in the beginning of the other book, like, Poppy used to go to the villagers and take away their pain when they were bitten. I was like, oh, right. That did happen.
Yeah.
And then my last note for this one, I was like, now you just said it. Now they're referencing from that woman from, like, the first page of the first book who was never referenced again after that.
I wrote in my notes, I am once again asking to remember fewer details about fewer characters.
I did laugh at this idea of them, like him pushing her into a pantry, just because like that's such like a modern also sort of trope to be like push somebody into like the cleaning janitor's closet or like the supply closet.
But also like they're engaged.
Right.
And even if they're fake engaged and he's the prince. So it's like, what are you hiding from?
Right. Just go to your bedroom and have this conversation instead of like, again, this is like the medieval janitor's closet, like pushing her into the dry pantry.
Yes. All right. It's chapter 18. We're in the pantry. The kiss deepens into an intensely passionate encounter with Castile pressing her against the pantry door, teasing and taunting her, affirming that in that stolen moment, they were only Hawk and Poppy before he gently ends the scorching embrace. Then he shockingly
were in the pantry making soup. They were getting the ingredients.
They were literally getting the ingredients. So then he's all composed and he leads her to the dungeon to give her a gift. And the gift is that Dick Cheney is there. And he's...
Yeah, look. Hold on. I'm going to stop you right there. Look, I'm a guy. That didn't happen. He was not happy. There's no way he was composed.
Oh, that he's like super composed and I'm a girl? That did not happen.
Nope, didn't happen.
Like that's not how hormones...
Straight fiction.
Right.
That's not how hormones work.
Also, like they already both had been like, okay, we're just gonna pretend that we're gonna have this like whole passionate, steamy thing. And it's like, why didn't you just finish the moment then? Like, why stop and be like, oh, but we can't. But it's like, no, you literally just said that you were gonna do this thing. So the whole thing, yeah, not here for it.
Take us to the dungeon.
All right, so they're in the dungeon. Dick Cheney is there. He's all busted up. I lost my place in the notes. Yeah, and so he left him alive so that Poppy could have the final choice, and she chooses to thrust her bloodstone dagger into his heart, watching him crumble to ash. Later, Poppy and Kieran discuss the complex, devastating nature of the elemental bond that connects Kieran to Castile, because remember, he's his puppy. And before she goes to the underground chamber to then carve the names of Cheney's victims into the wall, solidifying the monumental human cost of the fight. Like a phoenix from the pantry ashes, Poppy emerged ready for retribution, proving that she is the queen of blood and ash, who will never stop fighting and never stop needing Castile's forbidden, delicious darkness.
Guys, these are the best notes we've ever had. Like, honestly, kind of. And on that last sentence part, it seems so good.
Yeah,
these notes are pretty good.
All right, so the bond between Kieran and Cass means that they can sense each other's emotions. Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
Yes.
Before we do that, I just want to talk about the death for a second.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've had like Castile now kill 2 people in a short amount of time in this book in like super brutal ways. And my note here was like, says, how do we feel about the death penalty? Discuss. Because that's
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it because so let me go with my notes about this real quick, and that'll touch on why I'm actually really fine with it. So I said Lord Cheney was chained to a wall. They tore his eye out. Kieran ripped his tongue out because he was annoying. I was like, wow. I was like, and then Poppy killed him. I was like, honestly, the violence and killing is a bit welcome because Violet or Fair would never have done this, and I really like this change of pace. I do. Like, it's just like a very welcome, different type of character. So I like it.
Interesting. I'm fine with it because he tried to kill her.
Yeah.
And so I'm fine with her killing him in this fantasy universe in which everyone is a vampire. I would like to state for legal reasons that this is not representative of my beliefs about morals, ethics, or politics. in 2025 in America.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking about the book.
Yeah, but in the book, I'm fine with the death penalty. In the book, I am pro death penalty.
I'm also
Yeah.
just, we said this repeatedly, or I said this repeatedly in the last episode about how, she reads like a 12-year-old. And so I'm like, her prefrontal cortex is not developed enough for her to have a strong moral compass yet. And so this is the decision that she makes.
They're
Speaking
also
of
like,
reading, go ahead.
they're also not human. You know what I mean? Like, I do feel like that kind of changes things, that like he's made a choice to be this bloodthirsty creature that, like thinking about like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Supernatural and like all of the things that my vampire knowledge comes from, like they're not people.
But
Go ahead,
did
Rick.
he make the choice? Did he have a choice?
Speaking of reading like a 12-year-old, got a great line from this one, right? I think she's talking with Kieran, and Kieran's like, "Do you have something to ask me?" She's like, "No, I don't have anything to ask you." He's like, "If you have something to ask me, ask me." And she says, "I don't have anything to ask. I don't want anything. I don't want to ask anything. Why are you asking if I want to ask something?" Okay, I want to ask something.
Okay, but the banter doesn't get any better, because then, Amanda, this is what you were starting to talk about a minute ago. She asks him again about the bond between him and Castile. And he responds by saying, "I shouldn't be surprised by how incredibly random that question was, but I am."
It's not random, and they weren't using the word random before we had running water.
One last thing for this chapter, because this will tie it. This actually will circle back to the last chapter that we read. My notes were, "Oh, I'm so happy. There's no bonded mates in this book. There are bonded friends."
You did this. You caused this. All right. So the bond between Kieran and Cass is that they can sense emotions. Kieran becomes weakened if Cass is injured, and in times of great need, they can draw energy from one another. It does seem that it's like more mutual, and it's not just that he's his puppy. And he says, "The bond is an oath that requires that I obey and protect him, even at the cost of my own life. He would do the same for me, but it's not required of him." And he talks about how a lot of Wolven died in the war. Rip. Rip to the Wolven. Chapter 19. I would like to point out that these notes are like correct to the chapter in a way that our notes haven't been in a really long time. So
I did something that I didn't want to do, but I did it. It's fine.
Okay.
I basically made a PDF of each chapter.
That sounds annoying. I'm sorry that you did that, but it worked. Okay. Poppy is awoken by a horrific nightmare of her mother's death, which like seems to be, the details in this are different. Like the details she's having in her nightmares are different than what we've heard before. So it's like starting to change the perception of the night her parents died. Castile, who has silently returned to her bed, comforts her, drawing her close and offering to help her forget the fear and helplessness. In the darkness, he returns to being Hawk, and their emotional connection ignites a fierce private intimacy as he sexually pleasures her, replacing her trauma with pleasure and bliss without asking for anything in return. This gave me the ick.
I wrote, actually, yes. I wrote awkward written soup.
I wrote ick. He says you need to feel something else to forget. And I didn't like that. I also, a soup complaint that I have in most books, but I would just like to know why everyone's boobs are always so painful. Why are they always like talking about their nipples being in pain? That doesn't seem
fun.
It doesn't seem normal to me, and I'm worried that they I know we don't have running water. I know,
but they should have doctors.
I'm wondering if they have mammograms. That's
I'm like, maybe they are all just PMSing all the time.
Right. That's when my boobs are painful. I don't think that I relate to this on this level.
I appreciate we all feel the same way about this soup, though, because my notes say, "Is this soup sweet?" ? I don't know what to think of it.
Yeah, I wrote the soup is fine, but the setup to the soup gave me the ick. All right, so hours later, they're preparing to leave New Haven for Atlantia. Poppy is struggling to maintain her composure, feeling the need to be quiet and meek. being the maiden again, before Castile's possessive remark about keeping what is mine safe reminds her that she must stay committed to his risky plan, as there's now no turning back. They have had one bed, they have had one chair, and now they have one horse.
Sorry.
I wrote,
Sorry.
Siri, play Britney Spears' Piece of Me, but I don't remember why I wrote that. Oh, Siri's listening to me. Don't do that.
Oh no.
He saw the terrifying maiden in her, and in the dark of night she gave him her trust, surrendering her fear to the fierce, forbidden hands of the Dark One.
That's right. It is in this chapter that we learn, because she says it, that Castile has thick eyelashes. He noticed his eyelashes, and I was like, that's the stupidest detail I've ever heard someone notice.
And Rick, you pointed that out last week at some point after you had read that chapter. And then I now can't unnotice it because it gets referenced twice more in the rest of these chapters.
And
I
then
haven't
just
noticed it at all.
Oh my God, it's the worst. And then just like a more annoying dialogue that I wrote, like, she's like cold, and Kieran says, oh, and then she's like talking the first person. So Kieran says, here, take this. And then she says, this turned out to be a cloak. Like, why couldn't you just written, he handed me a cloak? I'm talking to you, Jennifer. That's on you. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Agreed.
What the fuck are they doing? So much talking. They're going to someplace. That's all I got.
Yeah, so chapter 20, they're bantering. They're on the journey. Castile notices Poppy's silence and vulnerability on the road, prompting her to confess that she doesn't know how to act as she's trying to shed the submissive persona she was forced to be as the maiden. He reassures her that being her naturally fiery, argumentative self is precisely what will convince the others their engagement is genuine, before their discussion about their impersonal agreement leads to more highly charged flirting, reminding her how deeply personal their connection has become. Do you want to say the line?
I sure do. We all wrote it down. We all know what this is, right? You can't spell dysfunctional without fun.
I feel like I had a button that said that when I got at Hot Topic when I was 16.
I actually, as I wrote that down in my notes, I also said Rick wants this on a t-shirt.
I'm sure you can buy one at Hot Topic when I'm 16. Like, if we could go back in time to like 2003, I got you. So Poppy asks about Castile's late fiance, Shea Coulee, sensing profound anguish and anger in him, which he refuses to let her take away, stating that the pain is a necessary reminder and a warning. The group is then ambushed by the cannibalistic
Dead Bones clan.
But before that, okay, so they had this whole conversation about her being quiet and how like she needs to talk to him. And then there's like a little squiggle, and it's like we've jumped in time, you know?
Yeah, let me fill. Go ahead.
He hasn't talked to me in days. And I'm like, then what the fuck was the first half of this chapter about?
Right.
I can tell you what it is, because that's my note. She's processing all of book 1 and 30% of this book. That's what happened. That's my note.
I wrote, I'm genuinely bored by this conversation. That's what I wrote. I also want to note, too, because we have another animal sighting in this chapter. And so she's like, oh my gosh, there is this big, giant creature that's flying in the sky. And he's like, oh, the silver hawk? And yet again, why do we have the most mundane names for every animal that is referenced in this book?
She loves a critter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like, you know, why is it a silver hawk? Why wasn't that the wyvern or the whatever monster from the last chapter was?
Right. Also, his name is Hawks. So like we don't need to talk about hawks.
Right.
Like, I just feel like let's just remove hawks from the equation.
Right. But bears and hawks. Like, she's just stuck on bears and hawks.
Right. So the cannibalistic Dead Bones clan shows up, and Castile gives Poppy a bloodstone-tipped bow just before a shot is fired that drives him violently from... The horse is also named Seti. So that is the name of the horse. I got very confused. And the name of the chair. So there's one horse, there's one chair, and they're both Setis.
You know, I think I feel like this would be great if I felt like Jennifer was actually in on the joke. But I don't think she is.
Castile may have fallen, but his princess is armed with a bloodstone bow, fueled by impersonal passion. What does that mean? And ready to destroy any wicked thing that stands between her and her arrogant Atlantean prince.
Is this chapter 21?
Now we're moving to chapter 21.
Okay.
Okay, so they're fighting the Dead Bones clan. Castile shot with 3 arrows, but shields Poppy as he pulls her from the panicked horse, demonstrating his superhuman resilience, and launches himself into the trees to fight. Poppy grabs the bloodstone bow, quickly recovers, and fatally shoots an attacker, only to be charged by the clan's leader, who is wearing a mask made of human skin. She kills him in a visceral close-quarters dagger thrust to the neck, realizing that Castile gave her the bow, knowing she's fully capable of the violence needed to survive. She's shaken by the brutal nature of the fight, but is more concerned by Castile's strange stillness and dilated pupils, a clear sign that his Atlantean nature is taking hold. Oh my God. Her dagger is red. Her heart is fire. And now she's not just slaying monsters. She's protecting her heart's greatest desire, the handsome Atlantean prince whose life is now intertwined with hers.
Oh, a second. I got some stuff even better for you. When I asked it to give me the summaries, oh man. So I gave it the 5th set of summaries that I had. It says, this last set is a masterpiece of emotional turmoil and explosive reveals. We went from the terrifying ambush of the Dead Bones clan to a shocking primal feeding scene. Like, this is so good. I fixed Gemini.
The Dead Bones clan is called that because they like use every part of the kill. And so they like hang these little like bone wind chimes in the trees to ward off future attackers. The action in this scene is really confusing to me. I don't really know what's going on. He's wearing a skin mask. And then I wrote his pupils are big because she's bleeding, maybe, which is confirmed a couple of chapters later. Kieran is naked after he returns from his wolf form.
He's not just naked. He's like super naked.
Guys, what the fuck?
You know, maybe Jennifer can't write action. Because my first sentence for this one, I fell asleep.
Again?
In the fight scene?
Just like the other fight scene. I fell asleep. Let's see. What do I remember? Lots of talking. They got to Pompeii, and it's a ghost town because they send to kill everybody. So, like, these are my, post-sleeping notes.
Again, I think it's very stupid that she named the town Pompeii. And then she named the town Pompeii, and then she destroyed it. Like, girl.
And everybody was buried.
Hello? Chapter 22. The journey continues, marred by the desolate mass grave ruins of Pompeii, a city destroyed by the Ascended 40 years ago, which Castile and the others later secretly buried. Finally arriving at Spessa's End, an Atlantean stronghold hidden from the Ascended, Poppy finds that it is a beautiful reclaimed fort with running hot water. No, it doesn't have running water. It doesn't have running water.
It does, because she takes a shower.
No, she doesn't take a shower.
Oh.
They talk about how they miss that Atlantia has running water and Spessa's End doesn't. Anyway, but Spessa's End is a strategic temporary fix to Atlantia's land issues. I'm going to pause.
Didn't somebody take a bath?
Yeah,
they take a bath, but they bring water. I'm going to pause here because we're going to talk about the soup in a moment. But there's a little guy who comes to greet them, and his name is Quentin. And I wrote, I didn't know Quentin was in this book. So and he is very Quentin. So shout out to any of our coworkers who are listening to this. They talk about cave cats here. What the fuck is a cave cat? And that is where we learned that showers exist in Atlanta.
It's Atlanta now.
Yeah, it's Atlanta. It's Atlanta, Atlantis, Atlantia. Peace up, A-Town. Any other thoughts before we talk about the soup?
I have a couple things.
Okay.
You know what? No, it ties in with the soup, sort of. So go ahead.
All right. So she falls asleep. Oh no. What? Okay, I don't know. She falls asleep and she wakes up and she's like, I fell asleep in a soft bed and now I'm awake and the bed is hard and the bed is wrapped around me. And I'm like, you are literally a moron.
Oh my God, you wrote my note too.
So the bed's not wrapped around you. Go ahead.
Wait, pause, because I added my own sentence after that. I said, the bed was so warm and hard. Hard? Beds aren't hard. And the bed was wrapped around my waist. Beds don't do that. And this bed had abs. It wasn't a bed at all.
It made me think of Cherry from Pee-wee's Playhouse. That's what it made me think
so funny.
of. A living chair. So she kind of tries to get off of him, and it jerks him awake, and he's like got even more dilated eyes. That the summary here is like a little wrong. He like checks her wound, and then oh no, is that okay? The summary here is a little wrong. So before he goes to bed, he like checks her wound,
Yes.
and is chill. But then when she wakes him, he launches into a feeding trance. He pins her with a predatory snarl and an alarming hunger in his pitch black eyes. And I wrote, it's a new kind of feeding, I guess. She talks about her the scars she has that are craven bites but look like claw marks. So now that we're starting to think about the attack as she's remembering it, that might be different. I just want to point that out. And then she floods the bond between them with her empath skills, and he jolts back to his senses, and he says, honeydew.
And this was the first of 2 chapters in a row where I wanted to throw my Kindle across the room at the end of the chapter.
Honeydew.
We love honeydew.
I guess I'm like, I don't know. We've read some vampire books at this point, and I feel like I've seen some vampire movies. And I guess I don't know why I was surprised that him eating soup was going to be a form of feeding. I was really surprised that this happened.
Yeah.
And I guess I shouldn't have been, but I did not care for it.
Yeah.
And I also really didn't care for the fact that she actually found all this arousing also.
This is like, as I was reading it, I was like, Kim's going to hate this. I guess it's like, okay, so the consent here is confusing. Because like she could have stopped him. She had a knife in her hand and she dropped the knife. And so I guess we're supposed to think that that's her consenting, but like it's just her deciding that it's better to let him do it than to kill him. Right. So like it's not that doesn't really feel like consent to me. And I don't think I do think she wanted it. But she did not communicate that to him. She was not able to communicate that to him. And so this feels a little icky.
And he's not really in a state to be consenting either.
Right. It's not great.
And then we end on honeydew. And I'm like, we just went through this whole journey and we end on that. And I'm like, and honeydew? Why honeydew?
They don't investigate that. Like, nobody's like, what do you mean? Like, he just says honeydew and then he like says something else and walks away.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl. Go ahead.
One of the first notes I have for the chapter is I thought it was ridiculous because he's done this for like 5 chapters already. I said, wow, Cass loves sweeping that thumb across her inner hip. And I said, this dude's thumb is magical.
I am once again asking what an inner hip is. Like, I actually don't understand what is that?
Right. Like, if it's the inner thigh, just say the inner thigh.
Is that like meant to be like the armpit of your leg? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, is that what it is? Because like, that's not, I don't know, man. I guess you can't say like he's rubbing his thumb on her bikini line because that doesn't, but also you said damn straight. So like maybe you could say bikini line. I don't know what the rules are. All right. So now we're kind of, go ahead.
Take us home with the last.
All right. So we're in chapter 23 and Poppy is like talking to Kieran and she's like, why does everyone think I'm going to stab them? And it's like, maybe because you always have a knife. And so Kieran reveals that Castile hasn't fed in weeks because when an Atlantean cares for someone, feeding from others becomes repellent, suggesting that Castile is starving himself because he cares for her, and she is too afraid to be the one to offer. Confronted with the terrifying truth, Poppy realizes that she fell in love with a hawk long ago and admits she still cares, only for Kieran to drop the final bond. He thinks they are heartmates. She can run, she can fight, but she can't outrun the wicked truth. Castile is starving for her blood because they are heartmates, a bond stronger than lies, war, or even the gods themselves.
I have no words. Like, I truly have no words. I don't know what to say.
Why does Jennifer like inventing words for things that aren't like? We could have just said mates.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Heartmates?
Uses, yeah. It's vampires, wyverns,
Wolven,
Bearcats.
right.
cave cats, bear cats, bear rats, silverhawks, heartmates. It's like she got one of those magnetic poetry kits and just combined a bunch of words together to write a book.
My note before Heartmate says, blah, 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 you love him, we get it, get over it. And then, oh my God, Heartmates, kill me.
So I guess the concern is if he feeds off of her, that she could ascend.
Right.
And if she feeds off of him, she could ascend. So I think there's like a Zayden Venom thing happening here. I think they're foreshadowing that she may ascend.
Yeah.
Because like if they are quote unquote heartmates here, we know this isn't going to be the like mortal and immortal being marriage situation. So at some point she's got to become immortal.
Yeah.
I'm too hungry to actually have it explained to you right now. But my note was, I'm confused between the difference between biting and feeding. If she feeds, it become ascended, whatever. I don't want it explained. I'm just rolling with it. It's a bit confusing.
It's not a good book.
I said before that I feel like I would feel differently if I felt like Jennifer was in on the joke.
Yeah.
But then part of me is also like, maybe she's just trolling the shit out of like the Romantasy community.
I mean, maybe.
But people love it. I saw a Reddit post the other day. It was like, wow, I just finished book 3 of this. And it's like, oh my God, I can't believe how good it was. I'm like, everyone says that's the one that sucks.
Like her?
I don't know, dude.
I don't know. All right, what do we think is going to happen next?
I don't even know what's happening now.
I mean, they're going to Atlanta. They're getting on a plane.
And flying Delta.
Yeah, they're flying Delta with status down to Atlanta.
Ludacris is going to be there when they get there, and he's going to be like, welcome to Atlanta where the players play.
There's going to be some reference to peaches now.
Yeah, hell yeah. Not honeydew.
Not peaches. Honeydew. Should have been peaches from the get-go.
I agreed. So they're going to Atlanta. I think we're forced. I don't think it's as simple as her just being an empath. Rick is spinning around.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as simple as her being an empath. I think she's a weird other thing. I don't think her parents are her parents.
Her parents are the mystique creatures, probably, or something.
Yeah, like Alistair hasn't been here in a while, so I want to know more about him. We're like halfway done with the book. I think fundamentally not a whole lot's going to happen this book because there are 7 more books.
That's the thing. Like, I can't tell you what's going to happen because I actually don't know what's currently happening. I don't know what the end game of they're going to go get married and like what are we doing?
They're going to war. Well, okay, so it's a fantasy novel, so war is coming. So they're going to war with the Ascended. That's where we're headed. But that'll happen there's 9 books, right?
I think the 9 books are including the prequels.
Okay, so there's 5 in the series and there's 4 in the prequels. Okay, so if there's 5 books, we're going to go to war in book 4. So,
but isn't book 4 the book that's the first book, but from Hawk's perspective?
What?
Yeah, I read that somewhere.
Oh my God.
Okay, Rick, you're the one who told me that.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my God, that's so upsetting.
I'm
so upset.
So they're gonna get married. She's gonna eat some spicy food and breathe fire.
Okay.
And they're gonna fly Delta to Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a pregnancy at some point.
Yeah. This is that kind of book.
Yep. That's what I got.
All right.
All right. Wrap us up. What are we reading?
I finished Junie. I quite liked it in the end. I really liked the author's note. 6 stars for the author's note. But I had said on the last pod that I felt like it was a lot of different elements and I didn't know how they were going to all come together. And I think they did a good job of bringing them all together. I also listened to the audiobook of My Big Fat Fake Marriage. And I didn't really like it. I don't remember I texted you guys about it. I don't remember what it was that I didn't like about it.
You decided to change your ranking after the fact, or like at the end.
I did. Okay, you guys talk about your books, and I'm gonna find what it was that I didn't like.
Y'all, I've had my cousin here all weekend, as I said at the beginning. I've read nothing. I have just had like an absolute insane work week, and then my cousin's been here. So after this, I'm excited to get started on our next set of chapters. And I still need to start Crescent City so I can feel anger at the prologue like Rick did with a new character introduction.
I found the line.
Go ahead.
Like a really hot Jesus who doesn't understand he's awesome.
That's right.
2.5 stars.
Okay, so hang on a second. Yes, be angry at the prologue. It's only the prologue that character's there. It's a good prologue, but it's just like, who are you? Anywho, I'm some percentage through Crescent City, part 2, and it's good. It's good. Like, that prologue is actually very important. Like, obviously, because they put it in the beginning of the book, but they like tie it in really well, and it's definitely, at least right now, pacing better than the first book. I think Sarah J. Maas, like, maybe she did a good thing by like front loading so much lore in the first 40% of book 1, that she's actually just telling a story now. But I'm enjoying this book. It's good. All right, I have Chinese food. So what's our homework?
Our homework is to read chapters 24 through 35. So you stop when you see chapter 36. That's it.
It's actually not that long either. I think we have like, on my Kindle, I have 6 hours, a little less than 6 hours left. So
yeah, I haven't even looked at
short.
that.
We're, as we said, it's like,
yeah, we're halfway done. Yeah. So we'll read chapters 24 through 35, and then the last episode of this will be chapters 36 through the end, and then we'll read Mate.
Woo!
Heartmate.
Heartmate.
No. All right. Thank you all for listening and or watching.
Bye.
Bye.